Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Silver goes from this to this. Let's explore. That's right, we have seen for the first time in a couple of days, silver actually take a pretty big hit below $23 an ounce, which was somewhat expected to a degree. In fact, all the metals took a little bit of a hit, save for gold. Gold actually climbed even closer and closer to that $1,900 level. And in fact, some people said it did get over $1,900 in the day. Let's take a look at the prices. It never actually got to $1,900. People have been posting in the comment section saying it got over $1,900. That's either the futures market or what bullion dealers are checking. And really, to get the true spot price, you need to go to somewhere that actually posts from the LBMA. And Kitco is recognized as one of those that does the true spot price discovery. So gold never did actually hit $1,900 an ounce. Yea, though, we are seeing some movement. And it is natural for a little bit of a pullback. Now, if this pullback continues in silver and platinum as well, then we will start to see the widening of the ratio again. We've already started to see it over 80 now again. And then we'll see where things go down the road. But nonetheless, I wouldn't count silver out at this point in continuing, because I think as gold continues to climb, silver will as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that in this video here. But first, I'm going to show you a little bit of Kitco is talking about this. And again, I posted a video this morning that went over some of these same types of things. In this particular article here, it says that, that silver is now down 1.76% on the trading day. It's actually right now it's down over 2%. But CNN is now starting to talk more about silver now and precious metals for sure. And that's kind of interesting to see that it's starting to make some headlines on, quote, mainstream news sources, although most of us probably here agree that CNN is not really all that legitimate in terms of reporting actual news. But this is their business section here. But nonetheless, it's tainted as well, I'm sure. But the fact that it's in the news, of course, this is, talking about how it's hit 7-year high. It's outshining gold. It's only outshining it in terms of its performance in the last few days, just so you know. But nonetheless, we can't, just as I mentioned before, being cautiously optimistic for reasons such as these little pullbacks. Now, I am pretty much convinced that we're going to see the prices continue to move up with some pullbacks here and there. In fact, I could see the price of silver going up in tandem with gold on a general sense without necessarily narrowing that ratio. However, it should narrow. In fact, when we're talking about 79 to 1 or 75 or 8, that's not something to really celebrate in my mind. It's where it should be. In fact, it should be even narrower than that, but it's not. So silver's been performing very well the last few days, except for today. And we'll see how this plays out in the end, or throughout this pandemic and everything that's going on, all these different factors. There's, no matter what happens, essentially, there's reasons to be optimistic about silver's price, in my feeling. And I think the best indicator really would be gold and where it's going. Now, on this particular day, gold is up, and it's up almost just over 3/4 of a point, and silver's down. But I think this can be the exception to what we're going to see moving forward. Will the ratio narrow? I don't know. And am I suggesting people buy or sell? No. That's up to you. You have to weigh the risk of doing either. I know for myself, I'm not selling either one. In fact, I'm looking into buying in the buying mode again, but I have to figure out how and what I'm going to do. And of course, money is an issue too. Currency is an issue too. There's factors, and you have to weigh that out. I'm a fan of dollar cost averaging, smart, what I refer to as smart dollar cost averaging, based off of your budget. You buy much less when the price is way high, and more or as much as you can afford, and are comfortable spending when it's lower. But we don't know where the prices are going to go. Gold is nearing its all-time high again, getting much closer now than ever before from those 2011 prices. Does that mean it's near the top and it's going to come back down? I don't know. But more than likely, probably not. Given all the factors we've talked about in this channel, and many of you discussed in the comments section, we could see gold continue to climb upwards. In fact, you've heard me talk about earlier in the year, $2,000 gold. Goldman Sachs talking about $3,000 gold. $2,000 gold is certainly not out of the realm of possibility at this point. I think anybody could see that happening. $20 silver was somewhat of a radical idea just 2 months ago. Now we've surpassed that. Now people are making these really bold predictions with silver. I'm not ready to make those predictions. My prediction came true a lot earlier at $20 silver. But who knows what it could do? Just like we saw back in March, we may see another profit-taking measure, cashing out type of situation with silver, and maybe not so much gold, which means that silver could go back down below 20, or who knows what could happen. We could take a pretty big hit. And then people are going to be really jaded, which is why I want people to be very careful and cautious about it. But it is exciting, and I am relatively bullish on silver. It's price action. It's price action, not necessarily its ratio, its performance compared to gold at this point, given what we've seen over the last 5-6 years or so. We've seen those two metals diverge. And I think that's an important thing to consider when you're making decisions on buying, selling, or even holding. For me, I'm risk averse. I'm holding on to it. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Some people strongly feel you should sell the metal. For me, if I were to sell it, it would be as if it was towards a trade towards gold. If I were to do it, and that might be something might be considered only if the ratio were to tighten up. Some people say, well, now's the time to buy because it's going to go much higher, the FOMO. I don't like to purchase out of fear of missing out, but although I must confess that it is tempting many times, not necessarily for silver for me, because I do feel like I have made a conscious decision to move towards more gold, but you should never be totally influenced by FOMO either, that fear of missing out. I'm a hodl person, though. Hold on for dear life. And that might be to my detriment. Some people say, well, Sal, you should sell this. I should have sold my rhodium bar, people telling me. I should have sold that at $10,000. Why didn't you do it? You were stupid. Yeah, maybe so. But you know what? I'm aware of what I did and the consequences of that action. And that's really what it boils down to, folks. You have to be comfortable in your own skin with whatever decisions you make in terms of buying and selling. But that's where the markets are today. We saw them there from the last period that I pulled this up, and you saw them change. Silver's down, but don't be too discouraged about that, because my feeling is it's going to come around. But that's just my opinion. That's only a hunch and a feeling on my part. Never take anything I say in terms of my predictions to base any decisions off. That's one thing I want to be very clear about. As I'm starting to get a little more views on these videos, I don't want to influence your decisions. I want you to be smart about them. Don't take, question everything. Question my reasoning as well as anybody else's reasoning on anything in terms of, because it's your money, and what you do with your money is paramount, and you have to base that decision off of reasoning and logic and decisions that you hear from multiple sources, not just mine or any other given channel or voice out there. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe. Is that not the creepiest cat ring you've ever seen? This thing is made of silver, but I would feel very weird putting that on my finger. It looks like somebody carved out the belly of that poor little soft-teak and cuddly kitty. Although obviously it's not soft at all. It is a ring made of silver. Very cute, but weird. I don't know. I think I prefer the actual soft and cuddly kitty than having that on my finger. Ooh, creep me out. Creep me out. Oh, my goodness gracious.